The Mi 6X succeeds the Mi 5X and is likely to be the MIUI version of the upcoming Mi A2 smartphone, which will instead rock stock Android. But if last year is anything to go by, the camera app will still remain the Xiaomi one and the camera experience will also be identical. The Mi A1 and 5X was a huge leap in terms of photography, not just for Xiaomi, but for mid-rangers as a whole. This is Sandeep from RevAtlas. Let's see how the successor is. In terms of hardware, Xiaomi has rethought the whole wide plus telephoto approach that the Mi A1 had and instead gone for something similar to the Note 5 Pro. The primary sensor on the 6X is the same as the Note 5 Pro. A 12MP Sony IMX486 sensor with 1.25 micron pixel size but larger f1.75 aperture or f1.8 for practical purposes and in terms of EXIF information. It also has a secondary 20MP Sony IMX376 sensor with 1.75 aperture as well as 1 micron pixel size. The secondary camera is used for both low light photos as well as for depth information. Image quality is really good on the Mi 6X. There's plenty of detail to play with that even allows for reframing later by cropping. The wide aperture gives a very shallow depth of field, especially if you focus up close on subjects, which could even pass as being a portrait mode photo. There's a slight issue with white balance where it does seem a bit yellowish at times, but this could be fixed with software updates over time. The dynamic range is pretty good by default, but the HDR mode is a bit low-key. Would have liked the algorithm to be a bit more aggressive than it currently is. I keep comparing it to the Note 5 Pro, which kind of had a good HDR mode, but again, this being software, it's possible to tweak it and make it better. Currently, it seems like the shadows are given too much of an importance and the highlights are being ignored. The bumped up shadows look a bit too much in many cases. In terms of portrait mode, you might get a rough idea on what to expect if you have used the Note 5 Pro. The Mi 6X is all that, but also much more due to the higher resolution secondary camera which manages to capture portrait images with better detailing and larger file sizes due to the bigger resolution. The portrait mode also works really well under low light conditions as it keeps noise at bay while providing great levels of blur and bokeh. I would go as far to say that this isn't just good as a mid-ranger but also can give some high-end smartphones a run for their money. The Mi 6X also performs very well under low light conditions with great sharpness and resolved detail. Other smartphones in this price range usually drown out the details, and that even includes the Note 5 Pro. We'll include a link to a camera comparison we did with the Note 5 Pro in the description below. The combination of larger pixels, larger aperture, and a fairly big sensor along with good image processing allows lower levels of ISO to be chosen, and that reduces noise as a whole, giving cleaner images. Xiaomi says that the sensor also uses pixel binning to combine information from 4 different pixels into one, and thus creating an image that would be similar to an output from a 2 micron pixel size. The low light camera kicks in when it detects that the light has dropped beyond a certain level, but you can also select it yourself using the manual mode. The difference is also clearly visible where the low light camera takes more steady shots with better sharpness and lower noise than the primary one in similar lighting conditions. The front-facing camera is a Sony IMX376 with f2.2 aperture. Image quality is very good with good dynamic range, sharpness, details and nice colors. The brand says that the pixel binning is applied here too that gives a 2 micron pixel size effect, but I'm not sure how much of that is true for the front camera. The portrait mode is also handled very well with great edge detection and a smooth blurring algorithm. Coming to the video, Xiaomi brought in really awesome stable videos with EIS on the Note 5 Pro. Glad to see that the Mi 6X also has it, but even allows you to shoot in 4K mode without EIS. The detailing, contrast, colors are all good, and the audio has been improved quite a lot too, especially compared to their earlier devices. 4K does give more detail and double the bitrate of 1080p, but the lack of EIS results in very shaky videos if there's a lot of movement, so I'd still stick to 1080p if I'm not using a gimbal or stabilizer of some sorts. The front-facing camera video is also pretty good in terms of look and feel, and the audio changes are reflected here as well. However, the lack of EIS here is a bit of a letdown. This is the front-facing camera of the Mi 6X, capturing 1080p video. Let me know what you guys think of the overall sharpness, the dynamic range, how well it's picking up my voice, and even how good the stabilization is on this particular video. Xiaomi wasn't a brand that I would recommend to anyone looking even for a remotely good camera experience. However, since the Mi A1, they seem to be pulling all the right strings, and now with the 6X and A2, it seems like they've not just concentrated on photos, but also the videos and even the front camera experience, both of which was lacking on the predecessor. All in all, if you're looking for the best camera phone in the price segment, I think the 6X or A2 might be your best bet. Thanks for watching this video. See you again in the next one.